Well, hello, everyone. This is Stephanie Brown with the Military Spouse Chamber of Commerce. With me today, I have two good friends. Ed James and I go way back to his time when he was with 7-Eleven. He's a veteran. Ed, I'll let you introduce yourself in just a minute. And then I have Reena Bhatia, who is the CEO and founder of BidExecs. And that's what we are going to talk about today is really how to prepare to become federal procurement ready. Ed, Reena, thank you for joining me today. Ed, if we can start with you, if you'd like to introduce yourself really quick, and then we'll jump to Reena, and then we'll get right into the business of talking about procurement.
Absolutely. First and foremost, Stephanie, thank you and Jamie for having us here today. About BidExecs, I'm the Vice President of Franchise Growth. And of course, we are a franchisor, and we are the first as far as franchisor in the area of government contracting. And you all are going to learn a lot from our CEO, Reena Bhatia, about contracting 101. You can reach out to me anytime as far as if you want additional information. You can also go to our website, which is BidExecsFranchising.com. Thank you, Stephanie.
Sure. You want to tell us a little bit about you? Because I know I mentioned you're a veteran, but there's you have a history in franchising.
Yes. Well, I have a history of the past 20 years of really focused in on franchising, especially in the area when it comes to women, veterans, and minorities. I believe franchising is definitely it is the growth as far as when you start talking about creating legacy, owning your own business. One of the things is as far as a veteran, it's not that you're looking for a handout. You're looking for a hand up, or just open the door. Show us, educate us. And so it has just been really passionate for me to get as many veterans to own their own business, to turn that number around as far as, from our grandfathers, from the greatest generation before that, came home and they started businesses. So that is my passion. And I'm just, and again, especially when it comes to veteran and women, is that it's data driven. Veterans and women make the best franchisees, our business owners. And again, that is a data driven fact. So can't argue with facts. So.
Well, we both know that over 90% of military spouses are in fact women. So we are a very diverse population. And Jamie and I are excited about sharing your history, BidExecs, and really the whole kind of overview and some of the meat and potatoes about doing business with the government with you and Reena. So, Reena, if you can tell us a little bit, because we know you are a military spouse yourself. So tell us a little bit about you and what got you into this business and then founding BidExecs.
Sure. Thank you. And thank you to the Military Spouses Chamber of Commerce for this opportunity to meet with all of you and share, our experience and knowledge with you. So a little bit of background about me. I've been in the federal procurement contracting business for 28 years now. And believe it or not, and you can ask anyone in our business, most people fall into this by mistake. We never choose to be. I started my career as a programmer and quickly realized that I loved proposal writing. And, over the years, I've moved up through the ranks. I worked for small companies. I worked for large federal defense contractors, publicly traded companies. And, as I was going through, I think my engineering mind, my programming mind constantly kept saying, there's a better way to do this. Because what I discovered is that a lot of small businesses could not expand or get into government contracting because of the cost prohibitive nature of the business. And so I kept thinking, how can we do this better? So 11 years ago, I started my own company called ProposalHelper. And ProposalHelper was designed to become an end-to-end where a company can come to us and say, we need full proposal support. You don't need to have your own staff, completely outsourced on demand services. Well, as we were going through and perfecting our process, because we are very process driven, and the success to any franchise business is the perfection of processes, repeatable processes. And so over the years, as we perfected our processes to help our customers, a lot of them veterans themselves, we helped them grow their businesses. We said, wait a minute, there are a lot of people who want to be on our side of the game. They want to be able to help other small businesses. They don't have a platform. And so, how can we give them the tools, the processes, the entire network of connections without them having to spend the money for it and become their own business owners? And so we came up with BidExecs as a franchise model, and we are, as Ed mentioned, the first in the government contracting business to have franchised ourselves. And the idea really, Stephanie, for me was we already know how to do it. We have built it. Now let's propagate the knowledge. Let's share it. Let's make it available to others who can benefit and grow from this. So that's the whole idea of how we came up with BidExecs. And we have been very, very fortunate that we continue to have interest from our veteran community. And we are, because they understand how the government works, they understand how procurement works. So they make a beautiful and perfect fit. They just need a platform to jump off versus doing what we did 11 years ago, starting from scratch, trying to reinvent the wheel. We don't want them to do that. The trials, the errors that you go through in your business, we don't want them to repeat those mistakes. And we want, we created BidExecs to really propel them forward. And really, in the end, what happens is they benefit and grow as business owners. But guess what, Stephanie? They help the community, the businesses in their own communities create jobs. As the federal dollars come into their communities, as those contracts come into their states, it automatically creates jobs in those local communities. And it's a win-win all throughout that supply chain. And so unbeatable, and we'd love to see more people join and get into government contracting, not just on getting those contracts, but if not everybody wants to go out and win and implement contracts, but you're interested in it. So come on our side of the game. Let's get into government contracting in the other peripheral services that we can offer the companies and help them grow in our communities.
Right. It's really what you're doing is you're a force multiplier. You're taking this experience and expertise and success that you have developed, right? And you're helping, and you'll helping train others, veterans and military spouses, on how to provide that same service. And it's not just, hey, here's a franchise, and we're talking about BidExecs. Hey, here's a franchise. Good luck. You become truly part of the family, and you're able to train them to provide. They become a business owner. They become a business owner, their own business, and you provide the expertise and that mentorship and training and support ongoing that allows them to then amplify that knowledge and provide that skill set. And let's be honest. I mean, a lot of our military spouses that we have certified and in our community are interested in government contracting, but really not knowing where to begin.
Right.
If we can train and support other veterans and military spouses to become business owners that provide that expertise and start, not just starting with, but really an introduction to what is government contracting, what is the government buy, and then how to write government contracts. I mean, I think that would be the biggest fear for me is sitting down and going, okay, how do you write this? So it's really informing and empowering our community to help others within our community be successful at government contracting.
Absolutely. And I just want to add to that really quickly is because the folks who are coming out, our veterans who are coming out of the military, have been consumers of these services, and they have already worked with contractors while they were in the military. It's just a matter of closing that gap of what happened when I was in the military versus when I got out. How do I close that gap? And that's the full training that we offer our franchisees.
So that's amazing. And I encourage everybody to go to BidExecs franchise.com.
BidExecs
Franchising, I'm sorry.
And if you would allow me to kind of interject something also, in a capsule, we have a motto and we call it, in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So we are in this with you, full training, and we have processes, technology, and the infrastructure to fully support your business. And again, that's to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
Alone. I love that. I love it. And we all know, being Navy here, that a rising tide lifts all ships. So we definitely want veterans and military spouses that are interested in learning how to become a franchise owner with BidExecs to reach out. We have somebody who's, I don't know if you guys can see the comments or not, but we have some comments up there. So really, if a military spouse or a veteran were interested in doing business with the government, how do they get started? I mean, obviously looking at what you have to offer would be step one, but how do they get started? And to that question, what are they interested in buying? What do they buy? Can you give us an idea of that?
So Stephanie, 2020, FY 2020 fiscal year, government fiscal year goes from October to September 30th. Fiscal year 2020, the government spent $1.7 trillion in contracting. That's with a T, trillion, right? And they buy everything from a nail to an airplane to a space rocket, everything in between, whatever you can think of, the government needs and wants. We support companies who do construction. We support companies who do food supply during hurricanes, emergency food supply, setting up shelters, selling tents, whatever you can think of. We had one lady who we helped her just as a pro bono services that we do. She sells jewelry and she makes jewelry, wanted to get it into the PX, right? So we helped her navigate that system. So you might think, what, jewelry maker? What are you talking about? Anything, just anything. So if you have a viable service product, there is a demand for it. You just need to navigate and understand whom to sell to. I think the most confusing part in government contracting is just because you have a product or service, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to go sell it to the Navy, because guess what? It may not be the Navy purchasing it. It may be the DLA, Defense Logistics Agency, purchasing for the Navy. You'd have to understand whom to sell to. But any new company or any veteran-owned company right now that wants to get into government contracting, my first and foremost advice to them, Stephanie, would be start by answering your why. You have to be very clear on answer your why. Why do you want to sell to the government? It is not easy. I don't want to give you a rosy picture and say, hey, you know what? The day one, you submit one proposal and you're going to win. It's not that easy to do. It is expensive to get into that business. Have your funding properly aligned. Make sure you have your resources properly planned. And if you can answer your why, or why you want to do business with the government, don't stop yourself. Don't second guess yourself at that point. Go for it. Try it. Do it. Don't be scared. There are organizations, the Rosie Network, right? Stephanie, the Military Spouse Chamber of Commerce is there. We are there. We do a lot of pro bono support for veterans especially. Reach out to us. We'll help you. But very clearly, you have to know and answer for yourself. Why do you want to do business with the government? And then just go for it.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, you're definitely striking a note with me, because I always at Rosie in our Service to CEO training program, this is something that we nail and hammer down in the very first class that we teach in our program is, what is your why? And then defining what success means to you, because not what your peers think success is, not what you think everyone else is going to expect you to say success means to you. What does it truly mean to you? I mean, if you can answer those questions clearly, and then of course, who is your customer? And in this case, we're assuming that you've answered why, what your why is. Why do you want to do, and that part of that why is, why do you want to do business with the government? And when you say it's expensive, in how is it expensive? What should a jewelry maker, for example, or let's take a veteran who has an existing business. Let's say, for instance, if I'm PCSing across the country and I can't get into the lodge or a hotel on a military installation, and my business is, I've come up with an alternative to that, and I want to offer that to the government. So if the hotel on the installation or temporary housing is not available to me and my family, I can turn to this other company that is veteran owned and run, who can offer me temporary lodging. How would I sell that? What would I need to have to sell that to the government via a contract? Am I explaining that?
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Okay.
I understood exactly what you're saying. And, we have seen so many different what if scenarios. So the typical mindset when people get into government contracting is a rush to thinking there is going to be an RFP, request for a proposal somewhere, and I have to write a proposal for it. Not true. The government, to sell to the government, there are so many different ways you can put yourself out there. It is like any other business. The buyer needs to know that the seller is out there.
Okay.
You have to build relationships. You have to make the right person aware of what it is you're selling, what options are available. And I tell you, the government is getting very, very creative and innovative in how they're purchasing. It's no longer, this long cycles still exist. But there are ways that the government is also fast tracking procurement because they realize there's a lot of innovation in the marketplace and they need to get access to those services and products very quickly. You have to identify what you're selling and how you're going to sell. There are different ways to sell to the government. When we say it is expensive, the challenge we find is a lot of companies bark up the wrong tree. They spend a lot of time marketing to the wrong people. They spend a lot of time hiring consultants that show them all these, give them all these pipe dreams. Nothing replaces you doing what you have to do as a business owner. You will never replace yourself, right? You have to do your own business development. You will have to do sales no matter what. If that is something you are not comfortable with, it is going to be challenging. You also need to educate yourself on, there are tons of free resources. The SBA has SCORE. There are PTACs in your local community. Use those before you spend a single dime on anything government contracting.
Okay.
Leverage all of those resources first. But after that, remember, they can only take you so far. You will have to start spending on whether it's sweat equity or you hire a company like BidExecs or ProposalHelper to come in and help you. You're going to have to spend that money. And those proposals are not cheap. That business development support is not inexpensive. So you be realistic about it, how much you're going to spend on that.
And as much as you can prepare yourself in advance, the better positioned you are when you do reach out for that help. That's going to save you money because you've already positioned yourself to be successful, and you can work more effectively with somebody like a BidExecs or ProposalHelper, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm going to add one more tip for our viewers.
Please.
A lot of them, they go to PTACs or SCORE and they say, well, I never had any success with them. I didn't learn anything from them. Part of the challenge is you, as you exactly said, you have to go prepared. You have to know what you're asking for. They cannot predict or read your mind, and they're not going to run and plan your business for you. So don't blame them for that. They didn't help you. please go prepared to them with, this is exactly, I don't understand this, teach me this. Or
Right.
I want to do X, can you help me navigate the X and Y? Please be prepared, because they can only do what you ask them to help them with. And so when a lot of times we hear people come to us and say, well, the score was not beneficial, or PTAC didn't do anything for me, well, you probably didn't ask the right questions. So
Right.
educate yourself and ask the right questions.
Exactly. And there's also VBOX. So those are
There you go. The
run by
VBOX.
SCORE. They are available for military spouses. It's a veteran business outreach center. You can go to the SBA website and enter in VBOC, or Veteran Business Outreach Center, in the search, and there is a tool to help you locate a VBOC near you. So that is certainly great advice, because you can't go in there and go, hey, this is what I want to do. Can you do all the work for me?
Yeah, they're not.
We occasionally come across that in service to CEOs. So.
Because don't forget, at the end of the day, you are the business owner. It's your business.
That's right. That's right.
You have to be prepared to make it successful. We are all here as resources. We will help you everything we can do in our power, but we're not going to run the business for you.
Okay, so can you describe or tell us what the term set-asides means?
Sure.
What should our spouses, and as we know, 90% of them are women. There is no current set-aside for military spouse-owned businesses, although some of us are working very hard to change that dynamic. So what does a set-aside mean, and what should our members and those that will be watching this now and later know about the term set-aside?
Yeah, so there are different set-aside criteria that the government has set up. There's 8A minority-owned certification, women-owned set-aside. That is now very much an official set-aside. It took a long time for that to become official. There's veteran-owned set-aside, and these are contracts where government can sole source, meaning without competition, they can procure your products or services up to a certain amount. Especially now, I'm telling you, fiscal year end is coming up, a lot of unspent budget. So if you had prepared yourself, or for next year, prepare yourself early, a lot of these sole source contracts go to set aside companies who have these set aside certifications. But I have to tell you, and I had a very wise person once tell me, don't do business based on your set aside certifications. Do business for what you have to sell, your capability. Your set aside certifications are just a plus. They are a differentiator to a certain point, but that should not be your starting point. The mistake we see companies make, they walk into a small business office of an agency and they'll say, hey, I'm a veteran-owned small business, therefore I would like for you to talk to me about giving me some work. No, that is not a reason for them to give you work. The government has a mission. The agencies have to meet their mission requirements first. So put forth your strongest capabilities first, and then remind them, I am a veteran-owned small business. And oh, by the way, the Federal Acquisition Regulation, the FAR, allows you to acquire from me without competition. So please keep that in mind that I can help you with your mission, but you can get to me through my certification. So keep that in mind. It is a powerful tool. The 8A certification lasts for 9 years. Don't rush into that. If you qualify for the 8A certification, please don't get that as soon as you start your business. I know I'm raising eyebrows right now. People are shaking their head going, what? What is she saying? It is a ticking opportunity. Your business will take 3 to 4 years to get set up. Set that up first before you start ticking your 8A certification timeline. Wait for it. Your women-owned certification right away, no problem. Service disabled, veteran-owned or veteran-owned, get it right away, no problem, because there's no time limit on those. But 8A certifications, don't rush into that one.
Now that's good advice. That is excellent advice. So really quick, what about past performance? Now I know this comes up and the government does ask about this and look to this. Can that past performance be from outside the government?
Absolutely. You do not need to have government past performance Commercial past performance is fully acceptable. And in fact, if you are a startup company, your executive team's personal experience can also count as past performance. A very neglected thing. A lot of companies don't realize this. If I've spent 28 years in engineering, in civil engineering, or building rocket ships while I worked as an employee of another company, but I have now retired or left that company, started my own business. My personal experience is very much a past performance. Use it. It is not the strongest, but it is a starting point. And in fact, if you go into a prime contractor, a lot of companies say, well, I just started, so I don't have any past performance. No, get that out of your, don't think like a small business. Get that out of your head. You may be small, but think like a large business. Walk in with confidence and say, I am here and I can support your mission. Here's how. My size doesn't matter at that point.
And so that this is all incredible information. And I know that we have a lot of our Military Spouse Chamber of Commerce members that are interested in, doing business with the government. And I hope that we will hold more of these sessions, right? That we can share out through to veterans, transitioning veterans and spouses that are interested or maybe already doing business with the government that would like to share some of their experience with our members. But are there any final, as we come up on almost 30 minutes, are there any final things that you would like to share or tips to the military community?
You're right. We could take up many sessions trying to talk about each nitty gritty of it. My thing, again, I'm going to repeat what I said. If you have a specific capability that supports our nation's mission, our agency's mission, because these agencies need people first with capabilities. There is a shortage. We might think there's a lot of competition, but people with strong skills to support the mission are not easily available. If you have that, don't be afraid. It is a very lucrative industry or sector to be in. It may take you some time to get there, but once you get there, it is a very lucrative way to grow your business. So don't be afraid. There are a ton of resources available at your disposal. Use them, use us. We are here to help you, and just go for it.
Thank you. Thank you both so much. And again, this is BidExecsFranchising.com. What an amazing wealth of information for sharing to our members. This video will be available on our website, and we'll push it out through our membership. Ed, thank you so much for actually, Ed was the one that connected me with BidExecs and with Reena. So we are incredibly grateful for that. If you're interested, even if you don't have experience in government contracting, but you're fascinated by it and you have a servant's heart for this community, if you would like to learn more about how to become a BidExecs franchise owner, feel free to reach out to us, sbrown@millspousechamber.org, or Ed, or go to their website. We provided it in the comments. If you'd like to learn more about doing business with the government, believe me, we will have these two amazing individuals back with us again. And, I look forward to working with both of you now and in the future, because this is definitely, as you said, there are a lot of opportunities that our members, don't know about and should know about. And it's our goal to make them aware and give them the tools and resources they need to be successful. So I thank you both.
Thank you for this opportunity. And Ed, I think you have a webinar coming up here soon. So
absolutely.
If you want to share that.
Yes, go to BidExecsFranchising.com and you'll see webinars coming up. I have a webinar coming up on the 21st and the 28th.
Fantastic. Great. Definitely worth it. So we've posted all the links in the comments. You will hear and see these two folks with us again, I know for sure. Thank you both. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.